Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Market Voice. Well, any trader's biggest challenge in his day-to-day activity is when to trade, or to be more precise, when not to trade. So these are the decisions that he has to make on a daily basis, especially if he is a more frequent trader like a intraday trader or a scalper. It is true even for a little long-term trader also. For him, he has to know at what price he has to enter any particular stock. So here we are today discussing about, do you have a system in place which will give you the precise entry levels? Whether those entry levels are right or wrong only will the time tell, but until then, at least to begin with, as a trader, do you have a precise entry points for your stocks, or do you have a mechanism which shows you where do you trade and where you don't trade? Because these are very important decision points that a trader has to make on a daily basis. It is important trader devises a system which for him clearly shows you have to enter only at these points and nowhere else. When such points are well defined for any given time frame, it becomes easy for a trader to trade only at those critical points and not anywhere else. Supposing this is actually a easy thing for a range trader, but for a trader who works on moving averages, who works on crossovers methodologies, for him the price action will not tell him the next entry point. By the time the crossover happens, because crossover data or the moving averages data always depends on the price action and volume multiplied and then smoothened with, like, maybe a crossover of 20-day moving average with a 50-day moving average, something like that. So for traders who are working on averages, for traders who are working on crossovers, for them it is very difficult to determine where is their next entry into the particular stock. But for a range trader, for a breakout trader or a pullback trader, it is little easier because he already knows his breakout point. Supposing Nifty is at 17,800 and his system is saying the breakout level is 17,850, then it becomes easy for him. Until 17,850 there is no trade for him, and his pressing of button will happen only at 17,850. Until then there is no trade for him, which becomes that much more clear and easy for him to trade. So do you have systems which can give you such precise entry levels? When I again say precise, it doesn't mean it is the right entry. Maybe those breakouts would be a fake breakout or a false breakout, or it could may not manifest in terms of a good trade, but that comes only later, and only the market will tell in future point in time whether those breakouts were good one or not so good one. But at least to begin with, as a trader, if you are trading a breakout, you should have a clear cut entry points wherein you can say, I will enter into this particular stock or this particular index only at these levels and nowhere else. We are talking of The Art of War, written by SunTzu, and what does he talk about these kind of entry points? The whole objective for us here as a trader is to map the wisdom provided by the book The Art of War and map it to our trading activities. In this respect, SunTzu says, knowing the place and the time of the coming battle, we may concentrate from the greatest distance in order to fight. So here he is emphasizing on two things: you should know the place of the battle and you should know the time of the battle. If you know the place of the battle and if you know the time of the battle, then it becomes that much more for you to prepare yourself and surprise your enemy beforehand. Here when it comes to trading, we can only know the price where we will enter, but we don't know at what point in time that price will come on screen. So from war perspective, SunTzu says you should have two critical factors well defined beforehand, which is place of the battle and the time of the battle. But for us, for traders, we can only know the entry point and not the time when that entry point will come. Like said earlier, if you say, like, currently the market is at around 17,800 and you want to enter, or your buying entry breakout system is saying the entry is at 17,850, but you don't know when the 17,850 will come on screen. It might come today, it might come tomorrow, it might not come at all. It might, like, from the current 17,800 levels, the markets might start going down and might show different levels after few days. So here we are talking of, SunTzu talks of two aspects, place and time. Here we cannot time it exactly, timing is very important, but we can only put full acceleration when the market comes to that price of 17,850. When will it come? Will it come today? Will it come tomorrow? We don't know, but we know if market comes to a particular price, then what we will be doing. So at every given point in time or every given point in price, we know what to do. At exactly 17,800, we know what to do because there is no trade in that price. And if whenever the market comes to 17,850, we also know what we have to do at 17,850. In fact, my entire system of trend following has been devised on this concept itself, which, like, on any given time frame, I know for sure where is my next trade, which is very important. Where is my next trade? And I will be trading only when prices start hovering around that price of my decision points. I call it as decision points based on highs and lows, and I enter for based on various analysis parameters. I decide on the trend and I decide on the next trade will be buy or sell, and I decide on the price, exact price, which is one of the high or low where I can get into the trade. So you need to have a system in place very similar to this, not necessarily the same type, not necessarily based on highs or lows, but at least which will give you beforehand where you will enter and what prices you will do nothing and just watch the screen. So SunTzu's points, place and time, we have place, which is like, the price, but we don't have the time because we don't know when that price will come on screen. At least if you have one factor defined, you will be much ahead compared to most of the people who don't even know where to enter next. They will have to wait for the crossover, and by the time the crossover happens, the prices would have traveled much further because average data is always behind the curve. Well, we will meet with more topics in the coming days. Until then, Om Swasti.